I grew that. I ended up growing about 15 of those this year that the pumpkin munchers didn't get. The only ones that we were able to keep were the ones that grew on vines that had grown up over the garden's fence. Any pumpkins on the ground were taken by the pumpkin munchers. And to find out who the pumpkin munchers are, you need to read October Nights, available in print and Kindle, by way of the link in the description box of this video. Or you can wait until late October. That's one of the stories from the anthology I'm going to actually read here on the channel because it's pretty clean. So we're gifting, as you can see here. This is our gifting area. I've got a couple areas where we've gifted here. And it kind of looks like there might be portals back this way as well. That's kind of why I'm putting it there. And yes, I see those. Let's see if they move and or fade in and out, or go back and forth between our side of the veil and their own. It's almost 7 p.m. right now as I'm recording this. The veil's pretty thin. We're right here on the tree line where field meets forest, and the sun's going down. It's a good time for action. So, a lot of folks who watch these videos have mentioned over and over about these portals that seem to just appear in the background. And sometimes it appears as if entities are coming through the portals. So I was thinking just before I came up here, if it seems like I'm kind of low energy, like maybe I'm worn out from having worked on the homestead all day, it's because I'm low energy right now. I'm kind of worn out from having worked on the homestead all day. The heat is gone, at least for now. The humidity's gone, so I'm able to get out and comfortably and safely do a lot of stuff I've put off because of heat and because of excessive rains for the last 6 weeks. And because of finishing up the book. But like weeds, there's certain areas I keep weeded, like in front of the pond and other places. This stuff's 3 feet high now, and so now I'm having to take them out with like a sickle and just rip them up by hand out of the roots, and that's something. And I mowed all day, but so I was sitting down there thinking about this concept of portals, entities weaving in and out from our side of the veil back into their own, and I was reminded of a book I read probably 30 years ago. I mean, I was like a teenager. I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and then I heard what sounded like a branch breaking. I've actually got the phone. There it was again. I've got the phone set up here on a tree. I want to make sure that we survey our entire area. That was me. That was me breaking a branch. Wow. Yeah, I saw it too. And my research equipment is 15 feet away from me. Hold on. It makes no sense to have such high-tech equipment and not use it. Potentially, something is moving in this area. Okay, so the book. Oh, yep. Hold on. Watch right there. See that? See it? Come on, Crazy Lake. Can't you be more specific? Well, of course I can. I'm very technologically advanced. So the book was called The Haunted Mesa, and it was by Louis L'Amour. I know you folks know who he is. Oh man, activity's picking up. Got something over here, and these things calling back and forth to each other are not birds. I mean, they potentially. I need to do a tree knock, don't I? I need to find a pretty solid stick and do a knock. See if we hear any replies. Oh, so solid, it's rotten. Let's try. It's a dud. Let me get a stick. Okay. We're going to look at all the various angles, various directions, and I'll take my equipment with me this time in case we need it. I just heard like a snort. Okay, so the book I'm talking about, I'm going to get to the point. I know it takes me forever to do it. But it's challenging telling stories while at the same time looking for him, her, it, or they, and potentially other entities that may or may not exist and may or may not be in the forest behind my home. Yep, up there. Now over here, I'm seeing movement. Sit here and see if we can wait it out. I'm hearing the footsteps, but seeing nothing. Okay, so it's a book called The Haunted Mesa by Louis L'Amour. You guys know him. He's like the most famous Western writer ever, probably. Well, in the book, it's a good book. I've read it 2 or 3 times. It's one of those books I'll go back and read like every decade or so. But there's a guy who kind of disappears through the veil, through a portal, ends up going to the other side, and he joins the Anasazi. I think that's it, the Anasazi, who just disappeared, like an entire civilization disappeared without a trace. Like, I think 20,000 people. Well, they escaped what was happening. Well, it was genocide. They escaped genocide by going through the portal and living on the other side of the veil. And in the book, there's a couple times where the main character smells like a foul, pungent odor, and he sees something very large, covered in hair, going in and out of the portal. Yep, I saw it. So the general idea is that animals can see these things, and Bigfoot Sasquatch travels through these portals in the book. And this is, Louis L'Amour's story, not mine. But he used the example in the book about, like, for those of you, myself included, who've ever hunted, you'll just be sitting in the woods, still as can be, and here comes that monster buck, that lifetime fantasy buck, big 12-pointer, coming through the woods, and you're waiting on him to get within range, you're waiting for a clear shot. He steps behind this giant poplar tree, and then he just never comes out. You never see him again, so you wait and you wait. You don't hear him walking away. It's like he must just be standing there. And after you wait long enough, you've lost your patience, so you get up and go investigate, and you walk around the backside of that tree, and you see that he's gone. And now there are people who will say that wildlife, hunted game like deer, will put a big tree between themselves and the hunter, and then just walk in a straight direction so the hunter can't see him getting away. I get that if the deer actually saw you, but I know that's happened to me. There's been times that I experienced that, and it's been a quarter of a century. I haven't hunted in 25 years. But that's happened to me, and I know that deer did not walk away. And so when I read the book, I'd already been hunting for many years, and I'd already had experiences such as that. And I thought, wow, there might be something to this. Now, of course, it's fiction and all that. But if you think back about it, think of all the, we like to go down to the Outer Banks of North Carolina often. We didn't do it this summer because I'm trying to, not cross state lines and potentially become one of these super carriers of the COVID-19 and then, bring it back here. I'm healthy. I'm under 50. I have no underlying health conditions. I'm very fit. I exercise daily, but I don't want to pick this thing up and come back and bring it to my community and infect my strangers or infect strangers or my friends. So we didn't go to the Outer Banks this year. Actually, we were going to go to the Philippines this year and stay for quite a while, but COVID, took out those plans. So, okay, but here's my point of this. There's an island, or no, it's not an island. They're all Outer Banks. But there was a community down there. I think it's not Raleigh. Oh gosh, the name's failing me. They were some of the first, they predated Jamestown, I think, by a year or so. They were a lost colony. They came over from England on the boats and set up shop, so to say. They're on the Outer Banks. Roanoke Island, that's it. It actually was an island. And they're called the Lost Colony of Roanoke. And they put on a play down there regularly where they show kind of what they think might have happened. I've never seen the play, but I want to. There's just always so much stuff to do down there. We always end up doing something different. So it's on the list. But the story is, the boat brought these people over, dropped them off. They set up camp. They built houses. They started farming and all this stuff, growing their food, hunting, capturing their own food. And then the ship or the ships that brought them over sailed back to England to get more people and bring more supplies. They were gone for, I think, the winter, came back the following spring, and the entire Roanoke colony was just gone. They just vanished. And it looked like they hadn't packed up and taken their stuff and left. They just disappeared. And to this day, no one ever knows what happened to them. They don't know where they went. Yeah, I guess there were Native American Indian tribes in the area, but to my understanding, they were all peaceful. They weren't warrior type tribes. But it's like the people just vanished, like the Anasazi, like that big buck, you know, that fantasy dream buck that you see walk behind that tree and never come out the other side. Sound like a howl. And potentially like these Bigfoot Sasquatch creatures. You know, folks have claimed to see them. They see them. They walk behind a tree and then they're gone. Is it possible that Louis L'Amour knew something that we didn't? Or could it be that he just cleverly slipped his theory into that story? Are these creatures able to go in and out of portals or slip through the veil at will because they can see what we can't? Something to think about. So I'm going to leave my pumpkin here. Well, it's not my pumpkin anymore. It's their pumpkin. Leave it out here and see how it goes. See if they accept the gift. But after a very long day of pretty much doing manual labor that I love it. I love to sweat. I love the physicalness of it. I love the fact I don't have to go to a gym to get a good workout. And I love that at the end of the day, when I'm done, my property is more beautiful than it was before. I'm able to take pride in it. You know, some folks just, I guess they don't care to let their place grow up in weeds and let limbs fall off their trees and not even go pick them up. Well, that's not me. So the reward for my labors is just the beautification of my area here, my space. And it's been a good long day of that. And so I'm going to go down to the house, publish this video, and probably go to bed so I can get up tomorrow and do it all again. So I hope you join me again. Oh yeah. It's like they can tell when I'm ready to wrap things up. See you for more next time here at the PBS. The potential Bigfoot Sasquatch show.